Hello everyone, welcome back to episode 367. That is right. I've done the math. I think it's right. I don't know. I didn't fully count each and every single individual one. I'm noting the episode numbers in the description of each one because I'm not going to be putting it in the title. The titles are usually pretty long, at least the recent ones that I've been making, because there's just been, I don't know, maybe a lot of stuff more to talk about. Maybe I'm just being a little bit too excited about things, whatever. So, yeah, um 367 so far is what I've counted, subject to change, not official, not confirmed. I only noted up to 250 for now, but I'm on my way there, okay? Today I had to work and it was boring and I still had to. Dude, what am I doing with my life? With this whole work situation? I don't want to work anymore. Whatever. It's okay. Man was built to work, and that's what we gotta do. Because the cryptos are not making us any money. Let's just be real. But things might turn around soon. I have a good feeling about stuff suddenly. So we're going to get into all that. We're going to talk about our news. We're going to talk about Israel's plan to visit the United States. We're going to talk about the Olympics as well. A lot of developments there. And a lot of millionaire, billionaire, hundredaire talks about what their thoughts are on the markets. We'll be getting to basically the point of view of everyone. Robert Kiyosaki, Grant Cardone, Brian Armstrong, Michael Saylor, CZ, and some other irrelevant person that I'm forgetting. Oh yeah, Young Hoon Kim, etc. So we're gonna get into all of that. Should be good. Let's get it. So Bitcoin's current price 69,277. Slow Saturday finally. This is the Saturday that we are to expect, right? Not like last Saturday where we just suddenly had a crash out of absolutely nowhere is what it seemed like. I had my calendar over here. It would have been the 31st, right? January 31st is here. This is the Saturday move, which that is not natural. A drop of 2% plus 4%, 6% overall. At our worst, we were down. My room is dark, so I cannot see my keyboard. 10% overall drop on a Saturday. That's not like you. And so, it was a sign of kicking us off into something worse. Maybe Binance was behind it. We did catch them dipping, but now we also caught them rebuying again. Huge play, sell at 82,000, rebuy at 60,000. Smart, or maybe it's Donald. We'll talk about that too. We shall see if Jim Cramer is to be believed. I'm spoiling too much of the stories here, so... Alright, technical analysis. 60,000 still bottom. Not a lot of movement, not a lot of change. I was kind of looking at 77,000 to be a target for our high if this was to recover before we inevitably start seeing potentially a correction from that area, right? I don't know where a super trend is going to flat line out. It's currently like slightly on its way down. You can kind of see the curve, like the little decline, right? So it's kind of there. That's to be expected in periods of low volatility if the price just simply doesn't move. Super trend just has to kind of catch up with it, whether it like starts dropping like this or something. I don't think that's going to happen. I think it might flatline around 77, 76,000 maybe. I have to refresh this because it's really laggy. It's not letting me do my fluid movements around the charts like I'm typically skilled at doing, right? So, okay, refreshed. Okay, so what does the downtrend even look like? Can we even draw one from here? I'll try to. I don't think it's gonna look any good. Well, it's technically this, right? That's soon to break. We're kind of like poking above it a little bit. I don't even really think I would trust a downtrend like this. Maybe it would serve in like a 15-minute chart. Maybe, dude. I don't think so. Honestly, it's garbage. I'm bringing it out of there. What's more important is this downtrend line, and the most important is this one. So we've got some room to run to catch up. That is to say. And if Bitcoin does approach 80,000 once again, what do I do? Do I sell? That was my little dilemma. I don't know if I am to sell. What if we are indeed in a bear market? This just will continue going lower. that could absolutely be the case, and that would be my last stop out before, you know, after bouncing at 80,000, if that is to hypothetically happen, we would obviously be looking at making a newer low, which would be lower than 60,000. That would take us to 53,000, and I do not want to see that, my friends. So what am I going to do? Sell now? Absolutely not. And this is my mentality for every other time that Bitcoin has been dropping, but whatever. I'll be fine. I'll survive that. So I'm hoping for a rise for this week at least. Dead cat bounce. You can do a little better than that. Please and thank you. That would be great. Moving on. Ethereum hit above 2,000. So we're kind of staying alive, right? I should draw the 2,000 line because that is one of the most relevant points right here. After literally every other support level has been broken. And we ultimately landed at 1,741 as our lowest. This is gone. I can go ahead and delete this. So for now, we must focus on whatever this area down here is. Anything below 1,700, so that's 1,600 to 1,500. That's where, you know, worst case scenario, obviously, for Ethereum. But realistically, it all depends on Bitcoin's movement, right? Down super trend line is at 2,419. And it's slightly on its way down as well. So only time will tell, honestly. Time could change all of these. Super trends are peaking lower for a lot of them, is what it looks like. Solana is as well. Seems like it's approaching the $100 line. Current price of Solana is $87.80. No real big changes here. I think I'm just going to move on from it. There's not much to say. Hyperliquid, $31.37, holding strong, still in an uptrend. Hasn't really made new lows, you know, compared to every other coin in existence. So, you know, it's being tough. It's holding strong. I like that. And staying above 30, of course, is a crucial area. If we do lose 30 as a support, we're dropping 15% to $25, unfortunately. So I don't think that's really going to happen. Maybe it does, depending on the rest of the market sentiment. But if I'm expecting Bitcoin to have a bit of a, you know, dead cat rally, we should obviously not expect Hyperliquid to drop, right? Rather rise. So that's one thing to pay attention to. Sui still in its downtrend. Supertrend also still peaking lower. $1 exactly. You want Sui for $1, now's your chance. Chainlink, $8.93, recovered well, and holding okay, decently, after, of course, a terrible drop overall. Bottoming out at 713. Supertrend resistance at $10.14 right now, but it's on its way down, so it might, you know, we might come close to that level eventually, as these two kind of converge before we see, I don't know, maybe a potential lower movement, depending on how good the rally is for Bitcoin, if we do even get one. I would hope so. Things are kind of pointing in the right direction. I'll explain what I mean by that when we get to our news. BitTensor, $165. Still in a downtrend. Hasn't really recovered as well as the other ones. Like, I give the comparison of Chainlink here. It's gone up and it's stayed up. BitTensor kind of went up and it's like, you know, down a little bit. It's not like staying close to the upper side of things. So I don't know, a bit of weakness there. Same deal with Aptos. $1.10 is where Aptos is at. That just goes to show that Aptos is usually, I'm not even going to try to do the math, 1.1x stronger than Sui. Is that really the case when it comes to prices? Oh, I do want to compare this. When Aptos hit, I don't want to go too far back. October 2025. Let me go to a daily chart. This looks messy. Okay, October 6, October 5. Price 567. Okay. And Sui's price on October 5. Hold on, let me note these numbers down. 567. What? Okay, 5.67. Thank you. What was I going to do? Sui. Where are you? The price of Sui was 373. What is the correlation between these? Oh, 373 times 1.1. No, it's a bit more than that. I'm really just guessing here. 1.5. That's 559. What did I say was Aptos again? 567. It's about 1.5x more. Is that true? I don't think so. That means Aptos should be at 150 right now. Clearly, no correlation here, but they're diverging from each other. Could be due to Aptos's oversoldness, or could be just the inflationary nature of Aptos compared to SUI. Meaning that the recoveries for Aptos, even if the same amount of money is poured in, will be less in terms of price heights. So that's one thing to pay attention to. Yeah, it might have one of the larger moves because the volatility on it is great, but it's going to require a bit of a skill of the timing aspect. How good are you at timing bottoms? I'm not that good. Well, sometimes I'm good. I don't know. I've shown some decent snipes on stream, but I'm not the best, of course. Monero doing okay. 331, bottoming out at 276, 275 support. And 400 is where resistance, downtrend invalidates, etc. Where does the downtrend even look like? I have not even drawn one. I can draw one now. I feel comfortable with doing that. From our all-time high of 800, by the way. Imagine that. So, seems like we're setting up for something here next week on Monero. Could be a decent rise to 400. Right, how high is that? 20% rally, potentially. Potentially. Can you make money on these bounces? Yes, you can. Do you got to be extra careful? Yes, you absolutely have to. But yeah, if you're a lower time frame trader, you know, the signs are there. The possibilities are there. What you got to focus more is if the probability is on your side, right? That's at least how these guys take their trades. At least that's what I've studied. So, yeah. Today, I don't have any money to buy, so we're just going to sit here and wait for Bitcoin to do its thing. You know, hedge against inflation, rise up forever, Bitcoin to $1 million when? Dude, we don't even need that much. No, we do actually need a lot. I don't know. I also have market cap comparisons and a prediction from Sailor that we're just going to go ahead and get into. So let's get into the news. I realized also, by the way, when I was going through all my other streams, every time I say this, like, yeah, that's about it. Let's get into the news. All right, let's go into the news. Moving on, let's go to the news. I always say that every time, and it's always around the 20-minute mark is what I've noticed. Interesting. I'm just very consistent. I mean, right now I'm lacking. I only did the analysis for 12 minutes, but 13 minutes. The crypto analysis. But really, there's not much to do, okay? Like, my price levels are still practically around the same. Only minor updates, and, you know, it's a Saturday. What are you to expect on a Saturday? And we do have a lot of news to discuss either way. Mainly from a lot of analysts. So let's get into it. Geopolitically, this February, President Trump will host his 7th in-person meeting with Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu since taking office a year ago. That's a lot of visits. I think he's the one that's visited the most here. The meeting will take place at the White House, not at Mar-a-Lago. Netanyahu is expected to pressure Trump to take action on Iran's nuclear program, missile capabilities, and its support for anti-Israel proxy groups. Hey man, I think we're trying, okay? You don't have to come to the US for this, but sure. In late January, President Trump declined to authorize a missile strike against Iran in response to the killing of protesters, despite calls from Vance and Hegseth urging him to do so. Okay, so it seems like that one night where I did this big stream about, oh, the attack is like literally going to happen tomorrow and big traders on Polymarket are betting on it and everything, and then it gets called off because we give a lame excuse like, oh, our USS Abraham Lincoln is all the way in China and it has to come to the Middle East and it's going to take a week to do so, and we will not be able to, you know, respond appropriately to an Iranian retaliation strike if we start attacking them first. So we got to bring the big dogs over here, have everybody assembled, ready to go, and then maybe do an attack. Seems like we still didn't do an attack, and then now it's like, no, guys, don't worry, we're coming to the table, we're negotiating. Some people are saying, look, man, seems like Iran is just trying to wait this out, and, you know, have pretend like they're trying to make a deal. In reality, they're just stalling for time because that's what they need ultimately to, I guess, enrich uranium, fabricate their weapon, and wait for these presidents to go by. Because I don't think Khamenei is going anywhere anytime soon unless his regime gets toppled, which that's what the Israelis obviously want as well. So there's a lot of talks about that, and it seems like, Trump was the guy, the middleman. He's trying to be the middleman, standing in the way. So that's why he's getting a good old visit from Netanyahu. While President Trump has narrowed negotiations with Iran to focus solely on nuclear sites, Netanyahu is set to visit the White House on Wednesday. That's on Wednesday, okay? To press for restrictions on ballistic missiles and Iran's funding of anti-Israel proxies. Iran has ruled out the latter provisos entirely. Is this a real word? Provisions, did you mean? Oh, it's a real word, okay. A condition attached to an agreement. I did not know that. I learn something new every day. What else do we got? Wait, what is this? Witkoff and Kushner landed on the USS Lincoln, which recently arrived within striking distance to Iran. A warning of things to come. Hey, I mean, that's like probably the safest place. Or is it? Isn't it like, wouldn't this be like the main target of the Iranians if they decide to retaliate, give a retaliatory strike? They said, like, any attack from, or any aggression against us will be an immediate response with full force on Israel, United States, all your military bases, and all your allies. We're going hard. So, I'm sure it's all bark and no bite, but, I mean, yeah, this is clearly part of it. And this is the boat that we were waiting for, by the way, to come from Asia, which recently arrived to the Middle East. And people were like, okay, now that it's here, let's do it. Let's go. Come on, get the attacks in. I'm also part of that crew. Like, just get it over with. My crypto portfolio is suffering because this is always in the background of every news outlet. But no, we're just delaying longer. We're trying to see if we negotiate with Iran, which, sure, if you can get a deal done without having to drop a missile anywhere, then great. But honestly, it seems like a big mess. Netanyahu allegedly demands the following from Trump on Iran. So this is what Israel wants. A full cancellation of the nuclear program, zero enrichment capabilities. None of this is going to happen, by the way. Removal of all enriched uranium, a limit of 300-kilometer range for missiles, dismantling of their entire proxy network, and full-term long supervision. Hope the report is false, or that Trump doesn't listen to Netanyahu. Otherwise, the negotiations will fail. They will. Like, if this is what's required of them, they'd rather die trying instead of, like, actually dismantling, disarming, and giving up all their stuff. There's no way Iran will accept these terms. They've made it very clear. Yeah, I kind of agree with that. Sucks, but okay, we shall see. Okay, moving on from the Middle East. Hey, remember the Obama monkey video I shared yesterday? Well, the Governor Newsom press office Democratic account did the same thing, but they're posting Trump as a pig, basically, which, hey, it looks pretty fitting. It's pretty cool. And people are like, okay, where's the morals here? Obama as a monkey is bad, but then this is okay. And they've doubled down. Governor press office account for Newsom says, yep, that's correct. All right, well, there you go. Doubling down on business. Let's go. Okay. So now we're going to also talk about jobs report, recession fears. This is also part of the reason why markets have been kind of coming down a little bit. Although for whatever reason, Dow Jones is just killing it. Last we checked. Trump had an interview. The reporter asked him, AI is killing a lot of jobs. And Trump said, no, it's actually going to create a lot of new jobs. But the reporter says, no, like right now it's actually like taking a lot of new jobs. We saw a lot of Amazon jobs cut, a lot of job cuts in many different markets. I'm pretty sure I shared a huge list of companies laying off thousands of employees. But Trump is like, no, dude, you're wrong. And it's going to be like the internet. People said, oh, the internet's going to take a lot of jobs, but no, it actually, look how many more jobs we created with the internet. So, in the long run, sure, but short term, yes, people are indeed feeling the effects of, the the jobs cuts and the labor market suffering right now. Maybe Trump does want the labor market to suffer a little bit just to kind of push, the people at the Fed to cut some rates here and there, And it seems like it's kind of working. So first, I'll address this. We had US job openings data that came out, and that's kind of what sparked some of the fear as well in the markets, causing a bit of a drop. They're now at recession levels, which I also mentioned this year was going to be talks of recession, the excuse of a bear market. Seems like that's kind of playing out. There you go. US job openings dropped 386,000 in December to 6.5 million. It's the lowest we've ever seen since September 2020. Over the last 2 months, job openings have declined 907,000, which is the biggest 2-month drop since March 2023. The number of available vacancies has plummeted 5.6 million since the March 2022 peak. This is now below levels seen before the pandemic in 2018-19 at roughly 7 million. As a result, the ratio of available vacancies to unemployed workers is down to 0.87% if you understand this metric. It's the lowest since February 2021, significantly below the pre-pandemic high of 1.24. This also is below the levels recorded during the 2001 recession. So the US job market weakness is indeed accelerating. You'll see that decline. You don't got to be a skillful investor of this. Grok, what does Grok think? The silver lining is rate cuts potentially coming to save the day. That's what they have to do, and this is why Trump is kind of smiling about this whole issue. At least that's what I think. Declining US job openings to these numbers, 6.5 million in December 2025, signals a cooling labor market. Likely effects would be slower hiring, potential unemployment rise, vacancy to unemployment ratio at 0.87%, reduced wage growth, and weaker consumer spending. Low layoffs, 1.3% rate, temper recession fears, but persistent weakness could prompt Fed rate cuts. Persistent weakness could prompt Fed rate cuts. I think that's what Trump wants, doesn't he? And it's kind of working. The odds of a rate cut are kind of coming on the rise for the next meeting already. I know it's not a big, yes, for sure we're going to get a rate cut in the next meeting, but it's kind of on its way up a little bit. A little, 23% rise. 23% now expect a rate cut at the next FOMC meeting, and this is going to happen in March. The traders are pricing in a March rate cut, have now risen 23%, up from 18.4%. It's risen to 23% on Friday, as per the CME Fed Watch, this stuff that we've always looked at. The shift follows investor concerns that Kevin Warsh could take a more hawkish stance as Fed chair. I disagree with that. The guy's got to do what Trump wants to do, and that is cut rates. And the economic data will support this, with the jobs market hurting. Inflation, I think inflation is kind of okay for now. We've been getting some decent inflation data. As long as inflation remains at our expectations and on the decline, we should be, having the green light to cut some rates. Markets are pricing in only a 25 basis point rate cut with no further expectation for a larger move. So it's not like we're going crazy hoping for a 50 basis point rate cut because the economic data is severe, but it's, the start of something that could become something much larger, of course. Or maybe this is a nothing burger and just declines. Yeah, I guess I'll talk about this. Shabana Mahmood, she can become the next and first Muslim Prime Minister of the UK if Keir Starmer is to resign. I talked about Keir Starmer resigning yesterday, and it's due to the fact that Lord Mandelson is in the Epstein files and has very close ties, is very good friends with Keir Starmer, and, his close relationship with Epstein is concerning a lot of the people in the UK. They're calling this corruption. The guy's got to go. He did resign. But now everybody's looking at Keir Starmer. Hey, man, you got to resign too. What is up with all this? You knew about this. Get out. People are like, yeah, sure, get him out. But is the replacement any better? That's the other issue. So the next UK Prime Minister, Here are the odds on Polymarket. I don't know any of these people. Oh, I didn't realize I clicked on the link. Okay, well, anyways. No new prime minister. Hell, yeah. All right, 2026. There's a 34% chance that we don't get any election. Otherwise, we have Angela Rayner, Wes Streeting, Ed Miliband, Nigel Farage. Wasn't this the ex-prime minister? No. Who was Nigel Farage? I heard of this guy. Reform Party, maybe? Yeah, Reform Party. That's where I heard of him from. I think I would be... I don't know. I've heard good stuff about the Reform Party, but I don't know. Al Carnes, Andy Burnham, Lucy Powell. Oh no, another Powell in the office. Here's Shabana Mahmood that we talked about. There's a 2% chance that she's there. Come on, dude. So we're making a big stink about this, but it's like... First of all, would it be the first female prime minister? She would be first Muslim. Did we ever have any female prime ministers in the UK? Did UK... YK. My keyboard is like dark and my room is dark. I can't see my keyboard, so I'm typing blind. Did UK ever have a female prime ministress? I almost typed that actually. Oh yeah, they did. Okay, cool. When was this? 2013? What? When? Oh, serving from 1979 to 1990. And then Theresa May. I've heard of Theresa May. 2016 to 2019, yes. And Liz Truss. What? Never heard of this person. In 2022? Wasn't it Boris Johnson at this time? I remember during pandemic it was absolutely Boris Johnson, but then he stepped down or something. Oh, she served a short tenure in 2022, and then Keir Starmer is put in office. Interesting. Okay. Whoops. I accidentally deleted something. Alright, there we go. So yeah, I don't know half of these people, but okay, I don't know who Angela Rayner is, but she's got a 22% chance. Sure. As long as it's... Never mind, you know what? I'll just no longer comment further on it. Let the UK pick their best man or woman to run the country. Let's see, Brian Armstrong from Coinbase. He's made his comments about the market recently, saying it's been a volatile few days in the crypto markets. This is nothing new. Crypto has gone through many market cycles at this point. Personally, this doesn't change my outlook. I don't see how you can be anything but long-term bullish on crypto. It's eating financial services at an incredible rate. Coinbase is going to keep shipping through any market conditions, as we've always done. We've got a financial system to update. Yeah, the old stuff. This is basically this. Yeah, don't mess up the Clarity Act with inflammatory remarks about banks again. Yeah, come on, Brian Armstrong. A crypto bill is better than no bill. If it does get delayed because of Brian Armstrong, he will be like a big antagonist in the crypto space. But he's doing it for the good of the space is what he is going for. Is like, we talked about the comparisons for this market structure bill, right? Between Brian Armstrong and Brad Garlinghouse of XRP. They both have different ways of viewing it. Brian Armstrong of Coinbase says, look, give me something good, otherwise I don't want it. Whereas Brad Garlinghouse, they both start with B, from XRP says, hey man, something's better than nothing. Give us whatever you got. And yeah, I mean, I think Brian Armstrong's voice matters more because I think he actually has a say, because they actually paid attention to what he said, and that's why it got delayed the first time. One of the first few times. I mean, it's been delayed multiple times at this point, but yeah. Another thing, retail interest. I know it might seem like it's at an all-time low, which, I mean, technically it was. Can I find this for myself? I never tried looking stuff up on Google Trends. Surely. Okay. What is the world searching for? I don't want to know. Bitcoin. Bitcoin. The search term or cryptocurrency, brother. I don't know. They're both the same thing. Here's the interest over time. No, don't give me past 24 hours. Come on. Give me... Sure, past 5 years. There we go. Wait, what is this note? An improvement to our data collection was applied on January 2022. Sure. We had a good peak on February, March 2024. That's the first time Bitcoin went all the way up because ETFs got approved and made an all-time high in 2024. A cycle-breaking move, by the way. All-time high before halving event. Then Bitcoin's halving event happened around April. Doesn't show me the dates here. That's annoying. What about this? Oh, there we go. I just got to hover on it for a while. Trump election victory 2024 November, right? That's the second time this thing has peaked at 63 is on the scale. We've been much higher though in 2021. So, I mean, we've technically fallen off at this point. And look where we are right now. We're at a low point at 29 as of December 2025. It's not that popular. Not that popular as before. And it's at the same level of popularity that we've seen it in 2022 and 2023 before all these big rises have happened. So are we in it early for the next time? I think we are. And the good sign is, I mean, if you look at this, a 12-month high has been hit for Google searches spike. Flashbang warning. Search interest for Bitcoin hit a 12-month high in early February 2026, according to Google Trends. And this is just Bitcoin, the search term. Okay, let me try like changing that. Maybe that does make a difference. Oh, wait, it says right here, right? Nope. Oh, yeah, Bitcoin search term. It's literally the same thing. Okay, never mind. I thought it would be something special. But there you go. The surge followed Bitcoin's drop from 81,500 to near 60,000 in 5 days. Its lowest since October 2024. Is this real? Like, I really don't believe that. Let me check the past year. Okay, yeah, it is real. Lovely. That's a good sign, isn't it? Everybody's wondering if now's a good time to buy. I mean, yeah. It's interesting that as Bitcoin is making newer lows, the interest is kind of on its way back up. I like that. I like that. We're getting in it early. Surely. Maybe. I don't know. Robert Kiyosaki made some comments on some of the stuff that people have been calling him out on, right? The fact that he bought at Bitcoin at 6,000, he was like bull posting at the time, and then he kept bull posting at 117,000. I just bought more Bitcoin at 117,000, and then later on he reveals, guys, I sold all my Bitcoin at 90,000. That's a separate issue. But what happened to holding on to this thing forever? But whatever. He came up with this response post saying, to the person who said I was lying that I bought Bitcoin at 6,000, I know my strike price, not the date he falsely accuses me of the date I bought Bitcoin on. What? Why would he care what date I bought it on? Does he have a personal agenda for calling me a liar? If Bitcoin hits 6,000 again, I will buy more again. I will not care about the date. Newsflash, Bitcoin will never hit 6,000. Sorry. I'm not preparing to acquire more gold. Dude, gold at these prices, are you insane? Just buy Bitcoin now. What are you doing? Oh, my brain. Okay. It's okay. What is today's date? The guy that called me a liar wants to know. Dates are important to him or her. Well, he's really getting that, letting that one comment, that one rage bait comment get to him. He's crashing out over it on this post, which is lovely. Not really. I like Robert, okay? But come on. I want to know how many Bitcoin, gold, silver, or Ethereum he or she owns. Oh, now we're doing band for band, are we? How many rental units? How many oil wells do you own? I have no idea when I acquired these assets, yet I am glad I did. My advice to you following this text is to stay away from people who are more interested in the date of acquisition than the value and price of the asset. Take care. Okay. Hey, fair enough point, ending it on a high note. You got owned by community notes for lying. We'll talk about the community note. It's right here. Last month, you said you were buying Bitcoin, yet this week you claimed that you stopped buying Bitcoin at 6,000. Get your story straight, bro. So, yeah. A lot of people calling him out on the comments. Also, like, these crash warnings that he's always been giving around is another thing. Guys, don't worry, a crash is happening. I've been predicting a crash since 02. Cash in on the crash is happening soon. I don't know what chart this is. Probably the S&P 500. It is. Rich dad, poor dad. This is the biggest crash coming, basically. A lot of times, yet market's always recovered and gone higher. I don't know why he's fear-mongering like this, but that's just part of the game. But we're going to see a lot of switch ups happening from these people either way. This was the post that he talked about. You know, I stopped buying at 6,000. La la la. Oh, I guess I should read this too. I have sold some Bitcoin and some gold. I hate selling because I hate paying capital gains taxes based. Yeah, we all do. Hey, do what? No, never mind. No, wait, yeah. Can't you just take a loan against your crypto, basically, and then pay it back if it drops? And if you, and whatever the difference is, that is the actual money that you make, and you use that money tax-free. Not tax or financial or legal advice, by the way. I pay my taxes on time. All the time. But I don't know. I heard something like that. That's what people normally do. That's what Jeff Bezos has done. He just takes loans against his assets, stuff like that, and he just never pays taxes. And ultimately, when he dies, then all of that gets paid, I guess, to the estate. Or even if does it even get paid? I'm not a tax expert, but I gotta invest more knowledge in tax evasion in order to give you guys some quality content. Yeah, anyways, that was a joke for legal purposes. What else do we say? Rich Dad lesson. Your profit is made when you buy, not when you sell. Interesting. Okay, I will post on X when I begin to buy again. I think he just said that he did, right? Until then, please remember another Rich Dad lesson. Pigs get fat, hogs get slaughtered. The bigger problem is the national debt of the USA. Oh boy, here we go. Real debt is $38 trillion and $250 trillion when Social Security and other Marxist programs such as Medicare are counted. Okay. Patience and vigilance and continual study on YouTube may be your smartest money habit today. Yeah, guys, you heard that? Subscribe. I will buy more silver at $74. I will buy more gold at $4,000. I have enough Ethereum for now. We'll buy more. It's never too late to buy more Ethereum, especially at these peasant prices of $2,000 per Ethereum. Yeah, sure, go for it. The real problem is the Fed, our incompetent leaders, L. Trump, and our criminal banksters who rip us off via our fake dollars. Rough times are ahead. Take care. Get community noted, nerd. Robert Kiyosaki is lying. He said on January 22 that he was buying Bitcoin. The price of Bitcoin at the time of the post was over $90,000 per coin. Source, here is the post. I guess we're pulling it up in real time. We have receipts. Yeah, this is the post that people were referencing. I would just keep buying more gold, silver, Bitcoin, and Ethereum and get richer, take care. That's the line that he says. I mean, there's a bit of, what do we call this? You know, oh my god, what do you call it? The thing where the benefit of the doubt, right? We can give him the benefit of the doubt because he mentioned a bunch of assets in a list that he will keep on buying. He didn't say that he's only buying Bitcoin, and that is, you know, your proof that he did buy Bitcoin. I don't know why this is becoming drama. Just let the guy buy whatever he wants. And if he mentions that he will buy Bitcoin, I don't know. It's up to him whenever he wants to buy. Why is this a big deal? Grant Cardone, though, replied to it in this paragraph as well. He's getting involved. Drinking tea. So, he says, I should not get involved, but I can't help myself. In this post, Robert is basically admitting he has not bought anything in decades, his whole life giving advice about gold, silver, real estate, and how the world is coming to an end, but now admits he never really buys anything. He gives advice and doesn't do it. No was told years ago about this. What? No was told years ago this about him from people who actually wrote the book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Yeah, he didn't write it. Uh-oh. He says he does, but won't show proof. Ask him for receipts, and he will lose his mind. Dude, he's calling him out. That is insane. This is like billionaire on billionaire drama. Oh, he's not a billionaire, but millionaire, sure. He posted recently that he sold Bitcoin to buy a laundromat. Yeah, why would anyone do that? He has said he has tons of gold in a vault, and then he claims he recently sold gold and Bitcoin after teaching others to borrow against assets, not to sell them. Yeah, literally this, what I just explained, borrowing against your assets. Tax evasion 101. This is what is wrong with the coaching space. And I know people accuse me of many things, but I don't tell my audience I am doing something I don't do, and I always provide receipts. All of you who watch my material, I always show what we've done, what we've paid, and whether we've made money or didn't. Receipts matter, and I would like to see everyone in the coaching, teaching, influence space have to provide receipts. Yeah, so do I, by the way. My receipts are always here, and they're not looking great, but they're still receipts. What else does Grant Cardone talk about? I just got revealed that he's a Scientologist, by the way, if that matters at all. Yeah, cool. I don't know why he just suddenly decided to bring that up out of the blue, but okay, cool. Anyways, also been talking about, for this to work, you have to steal. There you go. That's how you get rich, guys. You have to be below replacement cost. We bought it for $235 million. What are we talking about here? I have no idea. Yeah, literally, what is he talking about? It would take $350 million to build. Rather than just stealing real estate, we stacked $100 million in Bitcoin back to replacement cost. Now I have 2 assets, not 1. I guess he's talking about the real estate versus Bitcoin holdings that he has and how they correlate with each other. That's part of the stuff that he was explaining in the past. Jim Cramer, I mean, this is another guy I don't know if we should really believe anymore. The inverse Cramer effect is pretty real. Up until recently, he has, I don't know, he's, gotten something right. Broken clock is right twice a day. He says that he has heard President Trump is going to be buying Bitcoin for the strategic reserve when the price is at 60,000. And suspiciously, Bitcoin's price just bounced off of $60,000 2 days ago, quite perfectly, right? Which is interesting to see. Wrong chart. Bitcoin bouncing at 60,000, 59,800. Give me a break. Maybe Trump did buy more. I mean, if he did, we would probably know. The people that Arkham, everybody's always tracking his portfolios, so we would know. Unless he did it on a completely new account. And by the way, let's not forget, his crypto project, World Liberty Financial, was selling wrapped Bitcoin at the time of the crash. Why? I don't know. Why would you sell Bitcoin while it's crashing? After, seeing it rise all this much? And I mean, it's World Liberty Financial. What are we doing, right? Anyways, no clue. And I don't really trust Jim Cramer, so I'm going to completely ignore what he says. I don't believe that Trump is buying at 60,000. I don't believe he will buy, period. He's not going to add more Bitcoin to the strategic reserve. It's too late. Like, when are you going to enforce this law? Cynthia Loomis is retiring soon. We're not going to get the Bitcoin buy act unless Scott Bessent takes over and does something about it, which, I mean, he's had all this time to do something about it and nothing has come of it. We've had other senators proposing to, hey, pay your taxes in Bitcoin and give it to the government and you won't get charged any capital gains tax. No taxes on paying your taxes. Okay, great. Yeah, I'd love to give my Bitcoin to the government for free, but no, it should be vice versa. We should be receiving the Bitcoins from the government, or, they should just be buying it and increasing prices for us so that we can get richer, the ones who do truly hold the asset, which, no, they haven't really bought all the Bitcoin that they have. It has increased in size only because we have seized assets from criminals. It seems like the criminals are in our favor here. They're gobbling up all the Bitcoin, and then the government will just, I don't want to say steal it, because ultimately, yeah, people are criminals and go to jail for it. What do we do with all the Bitcoin? Well, we keep it in our reserves. We have 300,000 now. When are we going to buy the 1 million Bitcoin over the course of 5 years? Right? Will that ever even happen? Cynthia Loomis, please save us. Anyways, while that all is happening, miners are not having a great time either. Bitcoin network difficulty just drops 11.6%, the hash rate and difficulty chart. This is the 10th largest negative difficulty adjustment in history. This move reflects widespread miner shutdowns across the United States over the past 2 weeks, as operators poured down to ease stress on electric grids during severe storms and intense cold snap. That's also true. The weather, the cold. People are saying this doesn't matter for Bitcoin. Kind of does, because the miners that will mine the Bitcoin, you know, this post explains it better. So the mining difficulty fell 11.6%, the largest negative adjustment since the July 2021 China mining ban. What does it mean for the price of crypto? Brock says a large mining difficulty signals reduced hash rate from unprofitable mining or external factors. Potentially that will ease the network pressure and aid recovery if demand rebounds. It's not a direct price driver, but it can coincide with bottoms. Another bottom indicator for you. Historical examples. I'm not reading all that. Price outcomes vary. Interesting. So we have a lot of potential bottom signals, right? The fact that we've been on a downtrend for way too long, 4 months of downtrend, that sucks. We have this, is this minor capitulation? It's not. Minor capitulation is something different. That's when miners are constantly selling. Now miners, even the Bitcoin that they are, mining, if they sell it, it's still not enough to cover the electricity costs, which makes mining unprofitable, and that just makes less Bitcoins be mined at a higher rate, right? Not a lot of miners are in existence. I mean, if you want to mine Bitcoin for cheap, go to, I don't know, Argentina or Iran. But those guys don't know what they're doing. Yeah, that would also reduce the sell pressure from the miners because they're like, dude, there's no point in even selling the Bitcoins. I'm just going to stop mining it in general. And ultimately, that stops adding more Bitcoin into circulation. The Bitcoins now just simply exist. There will still be Bitcoins mined across the whole planet, of course, but not at the rate that it was before. People will rebuy. It will make the prices go up again. That's the bottom indicator aspect of it. As prices are on the rise again for Bitcoin, mining once again becomes profitable, and they will kick up and running their mining factories, okay? They'll start mining again. I wonder how Eric Trump is doing. The guy's always flexing his American Bitcoin, ABTC, mining company, all the time. Guys, look at all these server rooms I have in this massive warehouse that's mining all these Bitcoins for us. Ultimately, just so that they could sell it while it's crashing on World Liberty Finance. What are you doing? But anyway, quantum computing FUD, I guess that's kind of in the background. It always has been, really, but Michael Saylor has talked about it. He says that Strategy is launching a Bitcoin security program to coordinate with the global cyber, crypto, and Bitcoin security community. Key points he made is that quantum computing is 10 plus years away. We don't got to worry about it now. The world already relies on the same cryptography Bitcoin uses, the SHA-256 encryption. It's military-grade encryption. Like, if quantum computing does manage to, break through that, we would have to redefine the whole global ecosystem at that point. Like I said, even the military personnel, use this kind of encryption. So, yeah. If Bitcoin ever needs an upgrade, it happens via global consensus, and the Bitcoiners will just keep building through the noise. We will adapt. We will be fine, is ultimately what he's saying. Adam Back, I have no idea who this guy is, creator of Hashcash, the precursor to Bitcoin's mining system. He says that Bitcoin is safe from quantum threats for at least a few decades, 20 to 40 years. He says that post-quantum encryption already exists, and it can be added to Bitcoin long before powerful quantum machines arrive. So we should be good, right? What else does Saylor say? The catalysts are already here. He lays out what he sees as the real drivers for Bitcoin's next move higher. But that's also another thing. The fundamentals haven't really changed. They're stronger than ever. They always have been, and they would just continue getting stronger every time. Regulation, I don't know about this, but whatever. He says that this is the most constructive regulatory setup in Bitcoin's history. The Fed, Treasury, SEC, CFTC, and the White House are all aligned toward digital assets, which is a massive bull signal. That is true. We got to give credit where it is due. The administration is pro-crypto, just maybe not pro-crypto enough for my liking or everybody else's liking. Look where we are. You don't got to be a genius. You don't got to be a political analyst to understand that. Banking adoption. As major banks and firms like Schwab enable trading, custody, and borrowing against Bitcoin, it legitimizes the asset, which improves utility and helps reduce volatility. And third is the financial innovation. Products like BlackRock's Bitcoin Volatility Income Fund and structured crypto products help put a more stable floor under Bitcoin. What is this? BlackRock's Bitcoin Volatility Income Fund. Is that just IBIT? Or do they have like a... Is this what I think it is? It is just IBIT. Okay. No, it is something... No, that's just BlackRock. It literally is just IBIT. Okay. I thought it was something more interesting that measures Bitcoin volatility. I guess it's literally just the ETF. Okay, boring. But yeah, pro-crypto regulators, pro-crypto banks, pro-crypto products, minus the... No, equals the foundation of Bitcoin's next phase. Okay, lovely. Great. Thanks, Michael Saylor. What else you got to say? In 2045, oh boy, Bitcoin will be worth $13 million. Can this actually happen? I mean, yeah, but not because Bitcoin rises in value, but because the US dollar will just inflate, I think. This means that in 19 years, Bitcoin needs to hit a $273 trillion market cap. For perspective, that is equal to all global equities rising to, wait, what? 110 trillion, every vehicle on Earth, 10 trillion, all gold ever mined, 13 trillion. What? All the gold ever mined? All the gold ever mined is not 13 trillion. I mean, how is that possible? Literally, the market cap of gold is almost 40 trillion. All the silver in the world, 1.5 trillion. I have no idea what these comparisons are talking about. You might be wrong. The math ain't really mathing. Yeah, literally this. Math isn't mathing. But still, like, okay, 13 million. Is that true? Okay. I have to do the math myself because I do not trust these darn crypto Twitter people. 21 million bitcoins. If each bitcoin is worth $13 million a piece, that's too many zeros. That means, great, I'm doing this wrong. I have to multiply the values. 21 million times 13 million. That's a market cap of, oh boy, too many zeros, man. 273 trillion? Yeah, it's already what it says here. Okay, great. So at least that math checks out. The rest of it is questionable math. And yeah, also the US national debt, the devaluation of the US dollar. That's another thing that would obviously accelerate to that move. Lovely. Peter Schiff has some comments on Bitcoin, so let's talk about that. The real story about Bitcoin isn't its 50% decline, which we do have, by the way. It is that the biggest financial mania in history is likely over. What's most amazing is how the scheme's promoters convinced the mainstream financial media, Wall Street, banks, and elected government officials to embrace it. All right, you'll see. I swear, like, there's got to be like this one turning point at some period in our life where we just prove this guy wrong and we get this like satisfactory blow on him. That is like, take that, dude. You were so wrong about crypto. What gold? Maybe someday, I don't know. Some people are saying, was it only 4 years ago that conservative leadership candidate was urging people to invest in it as a hedge against inflation? And this is for CBC, so this is the Canadian one. Polyev Bitcoin Policy, Pierre Polyev, which we have talked about, and we like him for being pro-Bitcoin. Here's the fact check, though. When Pierre Polyev made his comments, the price of Bitcoin was approximately 45 to 47,000. As of right now, Bitcoin is at 70,000, 69,000. This represents a gain of 49% chance. So yeah, even if you did pay attention to politicians embracing it, government officials, you'd still be up. I mean, at least at the time of this post. Just, you know, do not disrespect Pierre Polyev is basically the point of the post. What about when Bitcoin was at 120,000? You and other liberals were very quiet about it, huh? Now they choose to speak up. If someone chose to sell at the time, it would have represented a gain of 155%. In any event, Bitcoin would have increased at a faster rate than inflation from when Pierre Polyev made his remarks. Nice. Moving on. This is a comedic post. Why everything is down? Well, the founders are weird people, which is true. Why can't we just have one clean founder? Do we even have one? Maybe I should be the guy. Maybe I'll make a project and I'll be the cleanest founder of all. I have no weaknesses, so I've got nothing to be attacked from. No angles of attack. The Bitcoin founder might be tied to Jeffrey Epstein. That's another thing that I don't know if we really covered it extensively, because we did talk a lot about Jeffrey Epstein, but I don't think we really said the ties with Satoshi Nakamoto. I really don't think there is, but there's just running meme that's around there. So there you go. For Bitcoin, the founder is tied to Jeffrey Epstein. It used to be before, like, nobody knows who the founder is. Ethereum, the founder hates his chain. True, Vitalik is literally selling his ETH as we speak. Tether, the founder is buying gold instead of Bitcoin, which is also true. Tether was literally one of the biggest companies buying gold. Proven fact. Why won't you buy the digital gold? Anyway, BNB, the founder is liquidating the entire industry, which is so true. We'll talk about CZ in a moment. XRP, the founder is selling billions every year. Also facts. We've talked about Chris Larson, Brad Garlinghouse, always selling their billions in XRP. USDC, the founder is down only since IPO. That is true. Look at Circle's stock. Can I find it? Down only since IPO is comical. That is actually so true, though. Oh, you could already tell from these downtrends. Oh, okay, fine. We've had a decent rise since IPO. Sure, dude. But now we're at a lower price even since IPO price. Down only since IPO. That's funny, though. Solana, the founder, isn't even using the chain. What chain is he using, then? Anatoly Yakovenko, right? I remember this guy. Anatoly I cannot spell, dude. I'm just gonna copy paste his name. What chain does he use? Okay, yeah, Solana, but what does he actually use, though? What is the joke here? He has expressed support for cross-chain initiatives, including bridging to other ecosystems like Cardano. Oh, so he's now pro-Cardano? Is that it? It seems like it. Yeah, I don't really see other stuff. Okay, sure. Doesn't even use the Solana chain, basically. Why wouldn't you? Solana's great. Tron, the founder's ex, accused him of illegal trading, and he's also just a wacky dude, Justin's son, buying a banana for millions of dollars. You know, remember the banana taped on the wall with like this gray duct tape, and that was a form of art or whatever? He was big in NFTs. He was big in all that stuff. Dude, he's literally very closely associated with Trump in the most scammiest ways possible. Top holder for the Trump meme coin, which got him that dinner that one time. Remember the Trump dinner? And Trump gave him a golden Trump watch as well, or something like that, because he was the top holder. He's also like heavily invested in World Liberty Financial, and there was a big falling out where they eventually had to like freeze his assets, freeze his wallet, because he was like doing some sketchy stuff already. Like, you cannot trust the guy. And I mean, we covered his ex-girlfriend coming out and saying, I was dating him at the time where he was like doing all this money laundering and all this stuff to promote his chain. I don't know. So that's funny. And then Dogecoin, the founder dumped his coins literally 10 years ago, which we also, it's pretty funny to just know about all this stuff. So yeah, comical. Moving on. The market is stacked with shorts. Long exposure is thin. Also potential bottom signal. Not a lot of people getting their longs liquidated. No, not a lot of people having the odds of getting their longs liquidated. Am I even saying this right? There's a high chance of short squeeze than there is of a long squeeze at this point. We've been beaten so hard from all the way 126,000 to basically half price, 60,000. How much lower can we go realistically? There's not a lot of longs left to be liquidated, and a lot of those people are kind of gone. The shorts are piled on. Bitcoin is not meant to be shorted. It's literally anti-short. Henceforth, you will see a big short squeeze. Also potential bottom signal, which is lovely. That's what the chart shows, right? Yeah, this is so Bitcoin liquidations toward the downside. There's not a lot. You just follow the red line over here. And then you see the green line, the amount of shorts that could be liquidated. And this is the amount that we're talking about. So, yeah, a lot of shorts to be liquidated coming soon. Which means that the recovery that we could have could be very quick, very high, very fast. CZ, he's been... Well, somebody says first, imagine not knowing that the Olympic is up and running because of the amount of FUD ongoing. What? Y'all should let CZ be, honestly. Without him, we won't have a bull market. CZ says, way too much credit. The bull market, if you can call it that, didn't have anything to do with me. I was too busy skiing and snowboarding with the president of Kyrgyzstan today. Weird flex, but okay. And then... yeah, that's basically what he's been saying. The bull market, if you could call it that, didn't have anything to do with me. Sure. I don't know, man. We all feel like CZ is the biggest manipulator in the markets ever, so there's that. Young Hoon Kim, who we've been talking about extensively and clowning on him for giving us these excessive bull posting these past few weeks. He's finally given up. Finally. Potential bottom signal. This guy giving up. No longer bull posting, giving people false hope. Now he's giving people real hope, proclaiming the name of Jesus at last. Jesus is Lord, I do not negotiate, I obey, is what he says. From now on, I will not predict. I will only declare that Jesus is Lord. Good, yeah. And that's literally what I told him to do. So he's following my advice. He's watching my streams. He's understanding where he's going wrong. And yeah, he's doing the good stuff now. I literally told him, like, man, stay out of the crypto, please. You're kind of not making a good difference here. You've got a big IQ. You believe in Jesus. Focus in that sense. And he's doing that now. Great. Good. Glad to hear it. So no more bull posting on crypto. Only when we're at all-time highs, I would allow bull posting from you. Not right now. Me being a bull poster on stream literally every day. But anyway. Korean regulators talking about the BitHum event. Remember they gave a bunch of Bitcoins instead of Korean wons to their users? They were only supposed to give $1.50 worth, but they ended up giving them like a Bitcoin each, which is insane. 2,000 Bitcoins that they donated by accident. The regulators in Korea launched an emergency probe into BitHum after $60 trillion... after a 60 trillion won Bitcoin error. It's not $16 trillion, it's won, which that's a terribly devalued currency, so it's not actually that much money. But still, it was a couple $1 million, so that's worth something. They're now investigating what went on, what happened, why did this happen? So yeah. Moving on from that, the Olympics apparently happened today, which I literally did not know about. Just goes to show how out of touch I am when it comes to the topic of sports. But we're going to talk about it nonetheless. Remember the Olympics last time under Emmanuel Macron? The whole making fun of Jesus. Right on topic too, by the way, just the Jesus topic. Yeah, making fun of the Last Supper with these drag queens and what even is happening. And they're saying that the Olympics in Italy are a lot better so far. I don't know. Then they start showing this satanic ritual stuff going on over here. This is the Last Supper blasphemous move by these drag queens over here. And then this is the one from Italy that we see is... What does it look like? It looks like a pentagram in a circle, which we were like, okay, well, what are we doing here? It really doesn't get more in your face than this. A clearly visible upside down pentagram at the opening ceremony of the Olympics. It just gets worse every time. And I mean, to make matters even worse is that the people representing the country, like United States, I think this is, yeah, it's America. He's got a flag on his bicep here. They're talking about like, oh, we don't like what the president is doing, but, you know, I'm still happy to serve my country. You know, we don't got to agree with the sitting leader in power, It was something along those lines that these people were saying. And it's like, dude, come on. You chose to wear a flag. You chose to represent our country. You chose to compete at the Olympics. If that's too hard for you, then go home. Some things are bigger than politics. You just don't get it. Literally, like, yeah, why even bring up the topic of politics? Just go represent the country, do your best at the Olympics, and move on, right? You don't got to opine on politics or on ice. I also see, like, a lot of people just talking about, like, the situation with the ICE agents and all this kind of stuff, and, you know, the political state of the United States. Just don't even opine on it if you're not good at. Okay, you know what? Fine, you're entitled to your own opinion, of course, sure, whatever. But it doesn't have to get to that point, especially if whatever you talk about has nothing to do with politics. In my case, yes, it does have to do with politics because that's literally what drives the price of the cryptos. So I have to talk about it, and I enjoy it, and I do my fair share of research. I love how satanic is trending. We'll look at that in a sec. We're barely one day into the Olympics, and at least 3 U.S. athletes have spent their time in front of a microphone trashing our country. If they don't support our country, we shouldn't be supporting them. They should renounce their citizenship and move out. Okay, relax. And yeah, literally what's going on with the Olympics. It used to be very nice and peaceful. Remember the Russian open ceremony of the Olympics? That was very pretty. But then we got drag queens and satanic stars, and then, okay, I don't know what this is all about. What even is this sport? Alright, relax, pal. Yeah, stuff like that is basically going on for the Olympics. The opening ceremony. Okay. More stuff is going on, though, in Italy, where this is taking place. There are riots breaking out in Milan as Antifa groups attack riot police. They claim to be protesting against the capitalist and colonial Winter Olympics. What does that even mean? And why Antifa? Is Milan in Italy? I think it is. Milan? It is in Italy. Okay, great. I just wanted to make sure I'm talking about the same country here. They're literally shooting fireworks at each other, like, to cause harm, or whatever. What is even the point of this? And also, like, the whole Antifa thing, it reminds me of, like, the singing of the Bella Ciao, which is the Antifa, whatever it was. It was engraved in the bullets of Tyler Robinson, who killed Charlie Kirk. Remember that? The anti-fascist slogan. Charlie Kirk was not even a fascist, but okay. Yeah. And more stuff is going on, too, in Bologna, Italy. There's a huge critical infrastructure sabotage in Italy tonight with coordinated attacks against the railway network. Dude, there's just people just causing terror at this point. A bomb was found near Bologna. Railway cables have been cut and relay cabinets have been set on fire along Bologna-Padua, Bologna-Ancona, and Ancona-Rimini lines. Italy just got hit with a massive railway sabotage. A bomb was found near Bologna, then backup systems were attacked, cables were cut, etc., all hit at once, which means that it was absolutely planned. Why? And that's about it. That's it for Italy. Why is this a poll? But anyway, tomorrow we have the Super Bowl as well, which I probably will not be watching. Maybe I will. I don't know. I also will be busy tomorrow, so I don't even know if I will be streaming. I don't know how late I'm going to be at an event. Probably till late, so maybe no stream tomorrow, okay? Just pointing that out. Because I'll be busy. But hey, I might as well talk about the Super Bowl since I guess that's a thing. Sure. Did you guys see like the Clash Royale event with, what was his name? Lil Wayne? That rapper? Whatever. Weird people. Okay. That's it. And then this is another rapper, Lil Jon. There's reports that his son, I don't know who the son's name is, but 27-year-old was found dead in a lake in Georgia. Just days after he was reported missing. That's crazy. Lil Jon is the guy that says turned down for what? Yeah. Rest in peace, of course. And that is all the news I had to cover for today. Lovely. What do I think? So, based on all that information, I'm hoping that bottom is indeed in. Fundamentals strong. Everything looks great. Seems like interest is picking up again, not peaking. I mean, it is peaking. It was at 100. The Bitcoin Google search trends. Maybe Trump would have bought at 60,000. If that is the case, okay. We have yet to see confirmation of that, but I mean, this is Jim Cramer giving us this information, and he said that he heard that is what Trump planned to do. Why didn't you tell us this earlier? If we had prior information that Trump was going to buy at 60,000, we all would have sold and waited for the Bitcoin's price to drop to 60,000 and buy along with Trump. But no, he decides to reveal this after the fact. That's also another thing that makes me skeptical about the whole thing. CZ Binance, the guy's allegedly buying after selling questionably. The Seifu Fund conversion of funds. Is that even still in progress? I have to look it up. Seifu. Do we have any more buys? 18 hours ago, they bought another $235 million worth of Bitcoin for its Seifu fund. So they're on their way there. They're about 25% of the way there. This was last year. Okay. Here's a conversion update. They completed the purchase of 36,000 Bitcoins for the Seifu fund. Keep in mind they have to buy 1 billion in total. And it's going to be over the span of 30 days. Hey, maybe they want to keep prices cheap for 30 days whilst they convert to their funds. It's going to be so suspicious if for 30 days Bitcoin is trapped between 60, 70, maybe even 80,000 for 30 days. And that does actually seem likely. So this is like the perfect map out for Binance to be just, converting their stable coins into Bitcoin as a reserve fund. And then Bitcoin can, go ahead, go up again, liquidate all those shorts, and make us rich. With only 1 billion, though, I'm sure you can do more. And Binance already has a lot of Bitcoin, like as an exchange themselves. So don't know what really that is all about, but okay. So there's that. What else have we been looking at? I already forgot what we even talked about. The other analysts, Michael Saylor. Yeah, where Bitcoin is at right now makes sense. Fundamentals being strong, right? Bottom indicator for Young-Hoon Kim, no longer bull posting. Is like, you know what, guys, I'm done bull posting about this Bitcoin stuff. He's been bull posting literally every time. Every time I purchased is literally a bull post tweet from Young-Hoon Kim. I know my secrets have been revealed, guys. I follow the guy. No, I'm kidding. That's actually not true. But it's basically almost the exact same thing. I bet you could go back in time and trace ever since I've been buying Bitcoin, which has, by the way, been since over here. It just doesn't, I guess it deletes the trade markings after I've been mass buying every time. But yeah, ever since Bitcoin dropped below 90,000, so around over here I would have been buying. And since then, the guy's been bull posting every day, and he would show the most smallest rebound in the 1 minute chart or the 5 minute chart and be like, look guys, I'm totally right. You see this? And then, I mean, if you zoom out, we're just making lower lows, and we have been for the past couple of weeks, and here we are now. And now the guy has stopped. So, hey, bottom indicator. Maybe. Yeah, so I do expect at least a relief rally to around 77,000, like I said. From there, it's going to be important to see how price reacts. Toward the lower point, sure, we can still basically go, but honestly, nobody's expecting price to drop lower. Yeah, we all have our targets. We're all trying to time the bottom. Nobody really knows where the bottom is going to be. In my opinion, we don't even deserve to be here at this point. We did not deserve to go below the 66,000 line. All of this was just an excessive blip that went all the way down to 59,800, 60,000 essentially. So I disagree with it, but it is what it is. Price did what it did, and it's going to stay in the history books forever. So we're going to have to learn to cope, seethe, and mold. So that is all my opinion on it. All right, I think that's all, really. Oh, rate cuts as well. That's another thing. Recession fears, that's just going to boost the odds for rate cut probabilities, and proof that Kevin Warsh will have a change of heart this time around under Trump's power, and he's going to cut rates, like I've been expecting. Yeah, so all this stuff points toward potential good stuff for the future. Liquidity, M2 money supply. Do people even talk about that anymore? Is that narrative like completely dead? I'm sure it's at still like all-time highs. It has to be, right? M2 money or M2 global liquidity, sure. Yeah, nobody's been talking about it for a long time. I mean, Raul Paul has. Bitcoin should be at 140,000 right now. Global M2 is surging. Dollar is weakening. That is also a thing. Liquidity is expanding. Bitcoin is waiting just for a catalyst. The one news event that will trigger that huge rise. Who knows what that news event is going to be, whether that's the Clarity Act passing or whatever. Or Trump announces, yep, guys, we did indeed buy Bitcoin at 60,000. And then people will just keep buying. Because I bet that's what people's reaction is going to be if Trump does announce that. This is also, oh, look how perfectly correlated it is. By August 2025, Bitcoin will be at 180,000. Well, I mean, global M2 is just still going up while Bitcoin is diverging completely from it. So, yeah, that was a big stinker. Pepe versus global M2. Okay, that's just meme material at this point. Did you guys see? I talked about Dog with Hat yesterday. They posted this a Binance announcement. Yeah, because they tweeted the F slur at CZ, and we're like, dude, you're gonna get delisted from Binance for doing that. That is so funny though. I think it's just a joke though. Like they're self-conscious about what they did. And now they're literally reposting this. Now liquidate microsaver. Yeah, there you go. They doubled down. Look at that. They quote retweeted it. They replied to it initially, wherever it is. Here it is. And then they doubled down and quote tweeted it. What is going on? So it's like they actually want, I don't know, it's bringing attention at least to their crypto Twitter account. And then they post this as well, just I guess tripling down on it. That's funny. Peekapooch, hello, welcome. Yeah, my stream is over at this point. I'm just rambling. But yeah, so those are my thoughts on it all. Lovely. Can I monetize my channel, please? I did want to review that. Do I even have enough like watch hours or whatever they're asking me for? I used to have sufficient watch hours. Oh, I have a copyright strike. Lovely, thanks. Who was it? Who is some scum reported my audiobook, one of them, and it got deleted. It was the Full Steam Ahead audiobook. Yeah, trash book, by the way. Anyways, moving on. Earn. So I have the eligibility for super chats or memberships. This is memberships. And super chats. What do I need is 500 subscribers and 3 uploads in the last 90 days, which, yes, I absolutely do have. And one of the following, it was shorts views or public watch hours. I need 3,000 public watch. I'll just show you the chart. So I need, I have this already. That's been achieved to 500 subs, which, by the way, thank you. And then one of the following, 3,000 watch hours. This used to be there, but one of my biggest video on my channel got deleted. It had over 1,000 views, so that obviously, and it was like a 30-minute book, I think, so that would have absolutely given me what I needed. But, unfortunately, life sucks. So they deleted that, and they deleted all the watch hours along with it. Another copyright strike. Dude, I can't. I hope the Bible isn't copyrighted, because that's next. And then to actually get ads, I need 1,000 subs, which halfway there, I guess. And 4,000 watch hours. I can't even get the 3,000. So even if I do get 1,000 subs overnight, unless I get all these watch hours as well with it, it's not going to work out. And shorts, I'll never do shorts. Maybe I will. I don't know. I think I need more. What would I need for shorts? What would I even do with shorts? Just meme on my channel? That just wouldn't make things serious anymore. I try to keep it serious, but sometimes I do meme around, you know? But whatever. That's a whole separate issue, though. Hey, because so ETH to 2,400 before another downturn and Bitcoin to 77,000. I do believe that. But like I said, subject to change. Bitcoin could do something like this because ultimately that would follow whatever the super trend down line is looking like. So that could be a possibility. That's when we do approach like 77,000, I might close out my position at a loss, a slight loss, before rebuying lower because maybe we'll be consolidated down here for a while. Unless we like absolutely rip above this because, I don't know, a lot of shorts getting liquidated, then I'll, you know, put it maybe a positive at a stop loss at positive, right? To avoid my position from getting liquidated. But I do feel like the bounce is probably going to happen at, or rebound happening at 77,000 toward the downside. Potentially. And then for ETH, yeah, it's 2,400 as of right now. Because of this line right here. Same deal, right? We also have to wait until tomorrow, which I said I probably am not streaming tomorrow. If I do stream, I'll show you guys the new pivot levels. You can probably just obviously pull it up yourself, but that's looking like it could be around 2,400, right? Give or take. This thing could maybe reduce a little bit due to low volatility, a slight decline. And same deal, right? If we do get a decent start to the week, I don't know if we'll fully be able to like bounce forward, continue forward, right? Because we also do have this actual downtrend line to focus on. So yeah. How often do I stream anyway? I basically try to stream every day. Obviously at 9. But Tuesdays I don't. And that's it really. Really it's just Tuesdays. And it's always at 9 EST. Yeah. And it's just Sunday I have another event that's coming up. That's why specifically tomorrow I probably can't. I don't know for sure. I don't even know how long it's going to last for. It probably will last for the whole night. So yeah, I probably won't be able to stream tomorrow. It's just when I'm warning you guys. But Monday I'll be back and we'll yap about it. Yeah, all them chores and reading. Ah, it's terrible, dude. No, I'm kidding, of course. But yeah. So yeah, that's what I think about all this. All right, so I'll end the stream here, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, subscribe. Yeah, see you tomorrow, I guess. I will continue numbering the episodes. I'll try to get the actual number up and running. Right now, for now, this has been episode 367. Let's go. What a number to end on, huh? That was coincidence, by the way. None of it was planned. Please don't laugh at 6-7 jokes in 2026. So yeah. Bottom for Bitcoin or ETH. Right now for Bitcoin, it's 58,000, I would assume. ETH, I would look at the 1,600, 1,500. Yeah, that's what I see. All right, guys.